6.1 Famous People 1.
John Lennon wrote the famous song Imagine.
2.
Prince Harry has been patron of the Halo Trust since 2013.
3.
Steve Irwin always wore a khaki shirt and shorts.
4.
Bindi Irwin has sung with the Crockmen and the Jungle Girls.
5.
Princess Diana married Prince Charles in 1981.
6.
Julian Lennon has written a children's book.
6.2 In Famous Footsteps 1. Steve and Bindi Irwin.
Steve grew up on his parents' wildlife park in Australia and became a popular TV personality with his TV series The Crocodile Hunter. He died in 2006 while filming a program about stingrays. Bindi has been a TV personality since she was 2. Since her father died, she has made many wildlife TV programs of her own. She starred in the film Free Willy 4 in 2010 and also returned to Nims Island in 2013. Bindi sings too and has made 5 albums with Bindi and the Jungle Girls.
2. Princess Diana and Prince Harry.
Diana did a lot of work with charities in Africa, and she once walked through a minefield in Angola to bring attention to the work of Halo. Since 1988, this organisation has found and destroyed over 1.6 million landmines around the world. Harry has done charity work for many years and has continued his mother's work with Halo in Africa. He has visited minefields in Mozambique and Angola, and in 2017, he asked all governments to stop using landmines by the year 2025.
3. John and Julian Lennon.
John wrote most of the Beatles songs with Paul McCartney. After the Beatles, John became a solo artist and also did a lot of work for the peace movement with his wife Yoko Ono. Julian began playing guitar and drums when he was 10 and has made 6 solo albums. In 2006, he produced a film about the environment called Whale Dreamers, and he has recently written a children's book called Touch the Earth.
6.3 Questions and Answers 1.
Where did Steve Irwin grow up?
He grew up on his parents' wildlife park in Australia.
2.
When did he die?
He died in 2006.
3.
How many films has Bindi Irwin starred in?
She starred in 2 films.
4.
How many albums has she made with the Jungle Girls?
She's made 5 albums.
5.
Where did Princess Diana walk through a minefield?
She walked through a minefield in Angola.
6.
Where has Prince Harry visited minefields?
He's visited minefields in Mozambique and Angola.
7.
What did Harry ask governments to do in 2017?
He asked them to stop using landmines.
8.
Who did John Lennon write songs with?
He wrote songs with Paul McCartney for the Beatles.
9.
When did Julian Lennon begin playing the guitar?
He began playing the guitar when he was 10.
10.
How many solo albums has Julian made?
He's made 6 solo albums.
6.4 For or since 1.
I've known John for many years. We met at university.
2,
I last went to the cinema a month ago. The film was really boring.
3,
I've had this watch since I was a child. My granddad gave it to me.
4,
I lived in New York from 2017 to 2019. I had a great time there.
5,
I've lived in this house since 2015. It's got a beautiful garden.
6,
We last had a holiday 2 years ago. We went to Spain.
7,
I haven't seen you for ages. What have you been up to?
8,
We haven't had a break for over an hour. I really need a coffee.
6.5 Questions and answers.
Where do you live, Vicky?
In a flat near the town centre. It's nice because it's got a balcony.
How long have you lived there?
For 3 years, but it feels like I've been there longer.
So, why did you move there?
Because I wanted to walk to work. I hated the commute from my last place.
And what do you do?
I work for a pharmaceutical firm. I'm in the marketing department.
Ah, how long have you worked there?
Since 2015. It's a really good company to work for.
So, what did you do before that?
I was a student in Edinburgh. I studied chemistry and biology.
6.6 Frieda Hoffman, archaeologist and writer. Part 1.
Frieda Hoffman grew up in Germany, but has lived most of her life abroad. Her passion is ancient history, and she has written several books about ancient Egypt. Frieda, you've travelled a lot in your lifetime. Which countries have you been to?
Well, I've been to a lot of countries in Africa, and I've been to China and Nepal. I've never been to South America, but I'm planning a trip there soon.
When did you first travel abroad?
When I was 6, my family moved to England.
Why did you move there?
Because my father got a job as professor of history at Cambridge University.
Have you always been interested in archaeology?
Yes, I have. When I was 10, there was an exhibition about Tutankhamun, the Egyptian king, in London. My father took me to see it, and I was fascinated. After that, I knew I wanted to be an archaeologist and work in Egypt.
How many times have you been to Egypt?
Oh, I've been there 30 times at least. I go as often as I can.
Have you ever made an important discovery?
Yes, I've made some very important discoveries, including some important ancient tombs near Cairo.
And you've written books about Egypt too, haven't you? How many books have you written?
I've written 3 about the pharaohs, and I've written a book about a journey I made from Cairo to Cape Town.
How did you travel? By train or by car?
By Land Rover, of course.
Yes. And in all your travels, have you ever been in any dangerous situations?
Oh, my goodness, yes. I've often been in danger, but I've learned to look after myself.
6.7 Frieda Hoffman, Part 2. 1.
Do you go back to Germany much?
No, I don't. I've been back a few times to visit relatives, but I've never lived there again. I feel more English than German now, and I've forgotten a lot of my German.
2.
What did you study at university?
I studied ancient history at Cambridge.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes. I had a wonderful time. The course was amazing, and Cambridge is a great place to live.
3.
Have you ever had any other jobs, apart from being an archaeologist?
Yes, I have. I've done all sorts of jobs. I even worked as a waitress when I was at university.
Really? What was that like?
I loved it. I was a tour guide too in the holidays. I met some really interesting people.
4.
You said you've often been in danger. What's the most dangerous situation you've ever been in?
Well, I had a very difficult time in Cairo during the revolution in 2011. I spent 2 weeks inside my friend's house. It was too dangerous to go out. Of course, I'm fortunate. I can leave a country when things get really dangerous. It was the local people I felt sorry for.
(6.8) Word endings for jobs.
Artist, accountant, inventor, photographer, economist, electrician, actor, musician, farmer, politician, interpreter, assistant, builder, translator, receptionist.
6.9 Word endings.
Reservation, reserve,
Explanation. Explain.
behavior, behave,
Invitation. Invite.
decision, decide,
Student. Study.
collection, collect,
Argument. Argue.
discussion, discuss,
Fame. Famous.
difference, different,
Expense. Expensive.
danger, dangerous,
Success. Successful.
music, musical,
Kindness. Kind.
possibility, possible,
Health. Healthy. 6.10 Different word forms. 1.
I collect postcards. I have a collection of postcards.
2.
I've never wanted fame. I've never wanted to be famous.
3. Can we discuss your work? Can we have a discussion about your work? 4.
Is he behaving okay? Is his behaviour okay?
5.
Health is very important. It's important to be healthy.
6.
It's time for a decision. It's time to decide.
7. I'm not very good at music. I'm not very musical. 8.
We often argue. We often have arguments.
6.11 Word stress. Two-syllable nouns and adjectives. Nouns.
Danger, kindness, critic, artist, difference,
Adjectives. Healthy. Friendly. Famous. Different. Two-syllable verbs.
Invite. Explain. Discuss. Employ. decide, compete.
Nouns ending in shun and jeune.
Invitation, explanation, competition, ambition, decision.
6.12 Breaking news.
The West has sent more soldiers to Iraq. Enemy fighters there have captured and executed the leader of the Western Army. More refugees have tried to enter the country after the government announced that no more will be allowed in. One leader has already built a wall to try and keep foreigners out. There have been more protests against high government taxes. Protesters say that ordinary people are paying too much tax because the rich have found ways to avoid paying theirs.
(6.13) David Taylor Buse.
I come from Newcastle in England, but I live in Perth, Australia now. I've been here nearly 10 years. My wife, Jodie, is Australian, and our children, Russell and Alice, were born here. Alice is named after her great-grandmother. That's my grandmother, Alice Buse. She is 89 now and still lives in Newcastle, and she's in great shape for her age. Now, there's a programme on TV called Who Do You Think You Are?, where famous people find out all about their family histories, going right back. I love it, and it's made me want to know more about my own family history. You can do a lot of research online, but even better, I've started finding out more from my grandmother, and she loves talking about it all. I knew that she was one of 9 children, which is amazing, but I didn't know she was the youngest, and the only one born in England. Her brothers and sisters were all born in Scotland, and that's where we all come from originally, from the Orkney Islands, which are in the very north of Scotland. My great-grandfather was a farmer there over 100 years ago. And I love this. My grandmother told me that our family's ancestors were actually Norwegian. They came over to Scotland in the 9th century. She says that's why we all have blonde hair in our family. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, it became more and more difficult for my great-grandparents to make a living there as farmers. So they travelled south and finally arrived in the north of England in Newcastle with their 8 children. Alice was born not long after they arrived.
6.14 Talking to Grandma.
So, Grandma, your parents came from the Orkney Islands, is that right?
Yes. My mother was called Jane. She grew up there and she got married when she was only 17.
And you were her 9th child, weren't you?
Yes, and I was the only one born in England. Life was really hard for my mother. You see, my father died when I was only 3.
Oh, I didn't know you were that young when it happened. That's awful.
Well, it means I can't really remember him at all.
So, what did your mother do?
She worked as a cleaner and a dressmaker.
Wow, her life wasn't easy then, was it? She had 2 jobs and all those children.
Oh, yes, she was an amazing lady. My 2 eldest brothers, Peter and William, they got work in the shipyards, so that helped a lot. Oh, it's not easy being the youngest. All my brothers and sisters have died now. I'm the only one left.
I know. So, did you marry young, Grandma?
No, I didn't marry till I was 22.
But that's young. Really young.
Oh, that wasn't unusual in those days. And I only had 3 children.
Only? two's enough work for us. And you've got lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren, haven't you?
Yes, I have. They live all over the world. It's not just you that's going to live abroad.
I know. I have cousins in New Zealand and America. But Cousin Peter still lives near you, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, he does. And he's helped me to keep in touch with you all with this Skype thing.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh, yes, I love it. I can talk to all my grandchildren, and I've seen all my great-grandchildren as soon as they were born. And I get emails and texts all the time. It's all really wonderful, isn't it?
It is, Grandma. Anyway, it's been great talking to you. I've got more questions, but I'll save them till next time.
OK. You will stay in touch, won't you?
Of course I will, Grandma. Bye for now.
(6.15) Question tags.
Skype is great, isn't it?
You come from Scotland, don't you?
Life wasn't easy then, was it?
You've lived here for years, haven't you?
6.16 Question tags. 1.
The weather is lovely today, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Beautiful.
And we all love days like this, don't we?
We certainly do.
2.
Mummy, our new cat isn't very big, is she?
No, she isn't. She's just a kitten.
But she will grow bigger, won't she?
Yes, of course she will. She'll be as big as our old cat soon.
3.
We had such a good holiday, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I really enjoyed it.
And it wasn't too expensive, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't expensive at all.
4.
The baby looks just like her mum, doesn't she?
She does. Same blue eyes, same nose.
But she has got her dad's blonde hair, hasn't she?
Yes, she's very fair.
6.17 Replying to tags. 1.
Dominic's party was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I had a great time on the dance floor.
2.
Karen knows a lot about gardens, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. She's helped me a lot with mine.
3.
You went to school with my brother, didn't you?
Yes, I did. We've been good friends ever since.
4.
Learning a language isn't easy, is it?
No, it isn't. It takes time and lots of practice.
5.
My English has improved a lot, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. You sound much more natural now.
6.
You won't forget to call me, will you?
No, of course not. I'll call as soon as I get home.